Hey, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Vox and Jed Fight About It, the show where me and Jed talk turkey, really. We just get down to business, we talk about things, we talk about stuff. This is the most polite way that I can say that we don't have a theme. Um, the show by us for the people, because, I didn't want to do it. We'll talk more about that. But anyway, Jed's here. Hey, Jed.
Hi. Hello.
The
What do you
best
mean you
Q&A I
didn't
could
wanna
provide.
do it?
Not that I didn't want to do it, right? It's not that I didn't want to do it. I did want to do it. My problem with it was, like, I really want to do it. I just don't see the demand for it. So on my own, without any audience input, I wouldn't normally have done this or committed to it. Because it's just like, it's another thing on my plate that nobody's going to watch. And so it's just like, that's fine. I just won't do it. Whatever. And then I put up a poll about it because, like, I mentioned it to Chet on stream, and they were like, oh, you should do it, that'd be great. And I was like, oh, that's nice, Chet's hyping me up, that's fine. And then and I was just like, that's nice and all, but, like, how much of that will translate to actual, like, people giving a shit about this? And so I put up a poll on Twitter, and it was an overwhelming, like, yeah, do the podcast, fucking do it. And so we're doing it.
I think
it was like 8-2.
It was like 8-2, and the 2 wasn't even a no.
But the 2 wasn't even a no. It was like I had a meh option in the middle.
Yeah.
But no, man. So we're here. We're podcasting, and I don't want to spend the next however long talking about podcasting, but I do want to open talking about podcasting because I think we both have ideas and ideals as to what this, like, is and could be, or what we hope it will be. And I want to open by, like, doing that as a little introductory bit to the show. But first, before we actually talk about that, I just realized I want to do little introductions for the two of us, because there's gonna be, if we continue to do this, I'm sure there will be people coming in who are like, who the fuck are these guys? What's happening here?
Yeah.
I doubt anybody who shows up to this first episode as it releases doesn't know who we are. But
that would be a shocker.
That would shock me, yeah. But we should probably spend a couple minutes on it for, like, anybody who might be listening to this who doesn't know either of us in the future or currently,
Yeah.
I think I've been talking nonstop, so I'll let you open.
All right.
On who you are and what you do.
I am Jed, Jed.mp3. I've recently started streaming on Twitch, but overall I've been friends with Vox we're coming up on 4 years now. We're really good friends. And I kind of just wanted to get involved with streaming to get involved with that part of Vox's life.
Guys, we're really good friends.
What? Huh?
I don't know, you just put that a specific kind of way. That's a gay euphemism, don't you know that?
Oh, well, I mean, you're gay.
We are really good friends. We are really good friends. Yes, I am gay, and you're, like, also, like, queer in your own way, but, like, we're not gay for each other. Like, that's a euphemism that we're gay for each other. We're really good friends. Anyway.
We're best friends, I guess? I don't fucking know, man. We're very close.
Hell yeah, BFFs.
Yeah. What was I saying? I fucking lost my train of thought.
We'll do friendship bracelets later. Continue.
Yeah, fuck it. No, but I stream on Twitch. I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Jed_mp3, because you can't put a dot in some usernames, so, like, 70% of the time I'm Jed_mp3, and it's not how I intended it, but, but yeah, I stream, I do music on the side. I don't really put it out there, but that's what I do. What do you do, Vox?
I also stream. Thanks for stealing my thunder on that one. But I also stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/voxel64. I'm a streamer and general content creator who's not in it for, anything but the love of the game. I have so much fun just, like, making things. Like I said, I wanted to do the podcast and the money. Exactly.
And the money. So much of the money.
I like more the love of the money than the love of the content, actually.
In fact, yeah.
If I'm being honest. But for real though, I do love doing this kind of thing, and I love podcasting too. I've always had, like, a passion for it. I've had a passion for it for, like, over a decade now. and I've tried to get various things off the ground. Nothing ever quite hit, and I just like I fail safed on it. I'm just like, okay, everybody gets into podcasting. Podcasting is such an easy field to get into. I'll leave it alone. I shouldn't be another white guy podcast, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like again, popular demand and whatnot. But I'm glad to be doing it. I do YouTube stuff. I do all that sort of thing. If I remember correctly, I'll be putting a lot of that in the description for the both of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll put my card page, and then I'll pressure Jed into making a card page, and then we'll link them down below. You have one?
I don't have a card. I have a link tree.
Oh, you've got a link tree? Ew, link tree is the like lamer option.
I'm sure it is, but I have like 4 things on there, so it doesn't even matter.
Right, whatever. Just whatever works, I guess. But no, yeah, I'm primarily a streamer, but just generally an all-round content creator. That word kind of gives me a little bit of ick. I kind of want to like as far as like self-describing content creator, it sounds like I'm pumping shit out. You know,
you make mature content for adults. You know.
Yeah, dude, I don't make porn.
But your streams are labeled mature, so
they are labeled. You do get like a huge. Content. They do give you a huge like fucking like this stream has swearing in it. Are you sure you want to watch this on Twitch before you click on my stream?
Yeah, that is a fair point. We're gonna be swearing a lot, so don't.
Yeah,
if that is an issue.
Put the kids to bed. If you're listening to this in the car with a small child, I'm gonna give you like a 10-second window in just a moment to turn the show off. Are you ready? Here's your open window to get rid of that. Fuck, shit, ass, piss, motherfucker, bitch, ass,
damn it, motherfucker, go fuck yourself.
And we've weeded out all the children and like anti-swearing folks. So now we can say whatever we want, and probably all the advertisers too.
Yeah.
To be fair, we're probably down a couple. Dude, I realized this is the first one. Could you imagine? Yeah. Like some like, oh, you know, I think these guys would do well to like be sponsored by our company. Let's go check out their podcast for a second before we like. Obviously, you got to check it out before you. And it's just like, oh great heavens!
that was like 5 seconds of swears, dude. What the
5 seconds of yelling swears down the microphone. What the hell? But no, about the podcast. No, back around to talking about the podcast. I guess I'll let you open the last one, so I'll open this one. My hopes and thoughts and aspirations for this is literally just to be able to sit down and just have a chat once a week for like a couple hours a week. I don't even know what the runtime on these is gonna be. I want it to be 2 hours, but I don't know if it'll actually be 2 hours. Like 2 hours is like my if we hit 2 hours, I'll be happy. If we go over, then like whatever, it'll just become our baseline to hit whatever we hit this time. But 2 hours is gonna be my goal number. But as far as like more nebulous future goals, I don't know. I just want to be able to do this, and I want to do more than 10 of these because, like I've mentioned, I do podcasts. I've done podcasts in the past, rather, and they never seem to last. I think the furthest I ever made it was 20. So I'd like to do more than 20 episodes.
Okay.
I'd like to do more than 20 episodes. That's 20 weeks. That's like just about a quarter of a year. So
no,
actually no, closer to half. Closer to half. It's not quite half.
Over a third.
Close. Yeah. Over a third, not quite a half. But anyway, I'd like to do 20. I think once we hit 20, I'll really feel like we're on the ball and we're moving.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you want, Jed? What is it you desire from doing this?
I would like to have a stronger media presence from this, partially. Because like I'm
gain.
Well, so personal gain to a degree.
A little bit of fame and fortune would be nice.
Yeah, you know. But like I have a. So I don't have a media presence. I've never had a media presence except for very small things, like very little things, where it's like because I'm friends with Vox, who's like I don't know a medium-sized small streamer. I'll have little things where it'll be like, wait, that's my thing. I did that. How did that get to you? And it's because it's like Vox quoted it at some point or somebody else quoted it, and it's something that draws back to me. And it's like, I want a media presence. I want that to be tied to my name. And so I kind of want to do more things with media, and I'm not a video creator. It goes right over my fucking head. So I figured do a podcast. Also, I've been wanting to do a podcast with Vox since I met him.
Right, we should talk about that. We should talk about that idea. I don't have it on my topics list here. By the way, that's how we're functioning here. A little peek behind the curtain. I have a notepad document in front of me with bullet points written down of just these are all things that happened somewhat recently or have been on my mind somewhat recently that I'd like to have conversations about here. I do want to preface though with the title before we get too far from talking about meta. I don't want to say metagaming, but talking about the show in the show. Vox and Jed Fight About It is a title. We're not necessarily going to have a central argument every episode, but you'll find two people that argue quite a bit. And so
it's all for fun though.
It's all for fun. We never mean it. We usually just fuck about, it's very haha funnies. It's the founding of our friendship actually. But, it's so we figured, I'd argue so. I
wouldn't.
Well, I mean, are we arguing about arguing now? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, we could.
We could, but it feels kind of forced. It feels kind of contrived if we start by arguing about arguing. But beyond that, I just think the name is nice, and I think it lends itself nicely to a logo with stock art that I didn't pay for. Shh, don't tell anybody. I'm going to pay for it. I just haven't bought the license. It's $5. Are you calling the emergency number to fucking report copyright fraud?
Police. Yeah, of my local area too.
That's not gonna get me anywhere. I don't think
I would get anybody anywhere.
I don't think anybody would enforce this. I might get a cease and desist, but I'll buy the asset before the episode comes out. I'll say that. Okay. It's $10 at most. I just didn't want to pay $10 for an image if I wasn't sure we were using it yet.
Yeah. Which, by the way, pretty much all of the assets, with the exception of the silhouette background we got going on behind us, those are all done by MK on Twitter. So go check them out. They'll be in the description as well.
I would love to pull MK's thing up here. I'd like to call attention to the screen behind us with the logo on it currently, since I just called attention to the logo on it. I want to use that for pulling up for showing screen for things have you seen this have you seen this, and it's oh no, can you pull up an image, and then we can pull up an image, but today, unfortunately, or to display guests on, unfortunately, I didn't set that up. I didn't set up a display capture.
God damn it.
To get that working.
God damn it.
And so it's kind of out the window for the moment. But next week we'll be able to use that for sure. I promise.
We might even have somebody on there, so they might. They might. Yeah, we
might have somebody on there. I don't know who we're getting or what. I've heard tell of people in Willow and whatnot express interest in being on the podcast. I'm in an SMP called Willow SMP. We'll talk more on that later. We're jumping around a lot because we're very excited.
We are.
We're jumping around a lot because we're very excited to get into doing this. But I feel like there's just a lot of introductory things to be said about the show that we're doing here. But no, yeah. First, you were bringing something up a minute ago. I said we should talk about something. What was I talking about? Do you remember?
We were talking about. I need to take notes during this because we're both fairly forgetful people.
Because you said something and I was like, oh yeah, we should talk about that, and then I was like, oh right, we should talk about this too, and I fucking brought us back around. But no, yeah, I'm glad to have provided this crash course on what exactly we are, and what exactly this show is. And now that that's out of the way, we can get to the actual fun stuff. I'm sure. Do you remember? Because if you don't remember, I'm sure I'll remember later, and we can talk about it then.
It's gone.
It's gone, folks. That's why I wanted to do a podcast too, is because we lose this stuff so much easier on stream. We lose it
Oh my
when we're
God.
streaming together. We lose so many topics to just like so many good topics that we could go at length about. To like, oh, we need to talk about the game for a second. Hey, what were we saying? I don't remember. Huh. Next
Anyway.
thing. And we'll just move right along without acknowledging it ever. But this is just gonna be sort of a place, grind out some news topics that are relevant at the time and our thoughts on them, some like random miscellaneous stuff, and some personal stuff that we want to talk about. Just to air here. Nothing like dirty laundry or anything. Just general stuff.
No.
Just like general stuff that we'd want to talk about. But
how we met?
No, it was before that. I wasn't gonna talk about that. It was something we had said before that. But either way, I'm sure we'll remember what it was at some point. I'll come back to it. But Willow SMP, I mentioned that earlier. That's probably where a few of our guests will be coming from. I'm in a Minecraft survival multiplayer group called Willow SMP. You may have heard of it. They're kind of a thing. And there are lots of folks involved in that. Myself included, obviously, and we have a good time there. So if you ever hear me refer to that, that's what that is. I do want to talk about Willow for a moment, though.
Right.
Mostly just because like I brought it up, and like Willow members were hyping me up about doing a podcast. Like a couple of them were like Enzo, another fellow content creator, was hyping me up on doing a podcast, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And then I'm talking to Crimrose TV on the server, and we're just having a chit chat on stream. We're just vibing, and then they mentioned like, oh yeah, me and RNG are gonna start like a Minecraft fishing podcast soon, and I was just like, oh no, have I started a trend? Have I set a trend? Oh no, is there going to be confusion because their show might come out before this show is out? I don't know where they are in the planning stages of that, or how soon they plan to start pumping out episodes. But it's just like, oh no, I'm gonna have like a miss moment where like, oh, Crim's doing a podcast. Crim and RNG are doing a podcast. That's cool. Oh, Vox is doing a podcast now? Oh. Copycat, I know nobody would call me on that, but I don't want that to be the vibe that people get,
I mean, like, yeah.
Not that I'm saying they're necessarily copying me, but a podcast is a pretty general idea.
If you look at like even just our setup, like this is very not Minecraft fishing stream, and it's going to very not be Minecraft fishing stream activities we talk about.
Yeah. I suppose so. But, like, the fishing was just sort of a backdrop thing, apparently. So there's your free promo for your show, RNG and Crim. Thanks for the backpack, idiot. Thanks for the hammer, idiot, and the shovel. This is me returning the favor. But no, yeah, that's content. That's what's been on the mind. As far as Willow goes, I hope to see some Willow members come on the podcast. You know what? Come on the podcast and defend yourself. I'm gonna break out my favorite phrase. Get in here.
Yeah.
Come on the show, and you can defend why your podcast is the better show, and we can talk about how wrong you are once you're gone and can't defend yourself.
The title, Vox and Jed Fight About It, is not about Vox and I fighting. It's about the guests we bring on. We're going to beat the shit out of them.
We're going to fight
just
them.
Physically assault them.
We're going to get into like a tag team match, and it'll be great.
But speaking of content, there's a very specific branch of content that goes around very often on TikTok.
What are we talking
just
about?
In general. AI voice filters and AI just voice in general. Most of the time, because like TikTok is such a short form content creation platform,
right.
I don't generally mind it too much because it's generally, absolute maximum 10 minutes. I saw somebody promoting their YouTube video where for the entire duration they had one of those voice filters that has an AI over it, and like those for me, I have like an auditory processing disorder, so it might just be my ears that those fuck with particularly.
No,
I couldn't see somebody sitting through one of those.
I couldn't sit through one of those because it seems like it would get annoying fast. I already get annoyed with that kind of shit because it's just like, just use your voice, dog. Your face is on screen. You're not using it for privacy reasons, of course. Why the fuck? Why do you sound like that? Quit it. It's annoying.
Yeah, because then there's like that sort of AI voice, and then there's like the Reddit reading stories where it's like the Reddit reading videos. I used to watch them because I was a child at some point in time, and like at least before they had people who had like nice voice to listen to, and like that was their thing, was that they had good voice, so they could read out stories.
There was a whole genre of content creator who seems to have like died out very fast. They're it seems like the people who read like it seems like the people who like read creepypastas are still around and kicking, but it seems like most of the groups that would read Reddit posts or like read out like memes to you in a funny voice are gone and replaced with like, you know, AI content. And the text-to-speech readings of posts has been around forever. As long as those kinds of content have been around. Like here's a name for you, Cowbelly. I remember 2016. I was around in 2016. Fuck that shit. Ugh. But I remember when Wilbur Soot was doing Soot House, dude. I remember Soot House. I remember, God, what's the other guy's name? The guy who would read like posts top all time from Reddit pages. Oh well, whatever. Who cares? But like that whole genre of guy is just gone, and I find it so funny. But no, yeah, I can't really get behind the like text to speech or like the TikTok AI voices as much. I can get behind them for a TikTok. I could sit through a TikTok. It's like, fine, the subject matter I'm interested in, or like reading me. I've been getting more like Tumblr post readings by AI recently, and it's like those are honestly more interesting than the Reddit posts, because I've gotten to the point where it's all just like made up petty revenge stories.
Am I the asshole for throwing my baby in a campfire?
Not even. It's just like my boss called me an asshole, and so I made him pay, and it's just like this weird roundabout like and then I got lawyers
Darman ass story.
This is stupid. This is clearly like written by someone who's never worked an office job in their life and like probably never will, you know? Like clearly shouldn't have a writing job. Like, I honestly, if you view like 99% of subreddits, like not the like tech support ones, but for the ones like Am I the Asshole or petty revenge or what is it? Malicious compliance. If you view like that kind of thing in the same light that you view like r/ like No Sleep, where it's like this is a creative writing project, you'll have a better time with it. I think like it's much easier to get behind that way. Not that I frequent Reddit. I don't even use Reddit. All the Reddit content I see is like secondhand via like screenshotted on Twitter or like read out to me in like a TikTok video. I don't seek it out on YouTube.
Or one specific friend.
Yeah, or one specific friend who knows exactly who he is, who like is an avid Reddit user. I'm sure he's watching. I don't know if he made it 20 minutes into this, but I'm sure he watched part of it. Let us know. But moving on. AI voices. You know, AI just like has sort of gotten out of hand in my eyes. Like it seems like the internet has like a weird double standard with it. Honestly, where it's like, you know, oh yeah, I fucking fuck this shit. They shouldn't use AI for that. That's dumb. Make real art, dumbass. Until somebody uses it for a funny picture of like a buff cat or something, and then everybody's like, oh, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen, and it's just like. None of it's okay. I hate to take the iDubbbz defense here, but all of it's okay or none of it's okay, and the answer is none of it. Stop complaining about AI and then proceeding to feed the machine, dude. I don't care if it's just jokes. If it were just this one harmless joke in a vacuum, or like if these things existed in a vacuum, sure, using it for bits and jokes would be fine. But the more you use it, period, the more it's able to like competently do. And so you are literally feeding the machine every time you use it. And so it's just like, I can't get behind this, you know?
Hell, recently during that Kendrick beef, that BBL Drizzy, the original one, not the one that Metro sampled.
Yeah, not the one that Metro sampled, but like there was the original version was done.
Yeah, not the one that Metro did, but the one that Metro sampled.
The one that he sampled, yes.
And like people seem to like not even think about it or bat an eye at it, and they were just like, "This is funny."
I hate that that's becoming. I hate that that's becoming more normalized over time, especially AI music covers. It seems like AI music covers have had zero pushback, really, like at all, because they are kind of funny. I do myself, confessional. I do myself have kind of a soft spot for them. I think they can be funny sometimes. I think the BBL Drizzy thing is pretty funny, and used to great effect. But again, it's still feeding the machine, and this will do nothing but hurt artists. You know, it's one of those things.
Music is an interesting thing with AI because all AI art and just AI in general is like this, but with music you can really tell that the AI is just replicating what it's heard before. It doesn't it doesn't understand music theory, of course. So it's like it doesn't ever do anything that's new or creative, and it's a lot easier for me at least to see with music because it's like, oh, that's apart from this one famous song. All right.
Right. I feel like AI has I think the reason I have a soft spot for AI music is because AI music has been happening forever. Neural networks and language learning models, not language learning models necessarily, but stuff of that caliber has been put toward hey, we gave this AI the first minute of a pop song and then let it try to Photoshop smart correction fill the rest of the song in basically. And try to make it blend in and work and see what it can do. And I felt like that was a point where AI was taking its first little baby steps, and it's everything AI in its infancy, where this sort of thing, of just hey, look what it can do. Oh, he managed to walk today. He took 2 steps. Oh, he said hello. Oh no, he's ruining everything. I feel like as it aged, it got better, and it's it became
fucking sticking forks in the outlet, dude.
It went from impressive prodigy infant to annoying fucking stupid idiot adult so fast, and I think that's why some of that soft spot still exists for a lot of people, and that's why the soft spot for the music stuff exists for me, because it did used to be oh, this is so cool, with things the project where they would try to make it understand music, and I feel like that was done without malice. It seemed like that was because that was if I remember correctly, I might be wrong in this, but I remember that being a research project of hey, what separates us from the machines when they start to get smart? Could they ever make art? Could they ever express under their own volition? And the more we learn about it, the more we learn that that's a hard no. Of just it cannot self-express without it's if the only human art that ever existed was here's a bunch of magazine clippings, glue them onto a collage paper and make something. It's if that was the only way people were able to express is by just kit bashing things that already existed together. And kit bashing when done by humans has a lot of soul, I think, but when an AI does it, it's all it's capable of, and thus it's it's stealing from actual people. It's when you start to get into commercial applications of it, and how corrupt people can be with it, that it really starts to just eat away and sink in. Just oh man, this is no good,
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel about it. It's just it definitely started with an innocence, and then they again the age old science parable of just oh, we went so far to see if we could, and didn't ever think about if we should, or what the long term ramifications could be. And there was I think they did think about what could happen, because obviously there are a million fictions of just AI overlords and shit. But I feel like it's a point of just hope, a blissful hope and naivete about the whole thing of just no one will ever abuse this technology, and then that technology evolved to the point where it could be abused effectively, and now is being abused. I have nothing against AI as a concept. I think AI for commercial use, or in any way where it harms someone else's bit. If you're typing in I want this, but drawn in the style of this artist, instead of commissioning that artist, that is where my line is, even on personal use. If you're trying to emulate a specific artist, if you're just using it for a D&D campaign, even, I still find that just Photoshop something together, take the 5 minutes, or find a stock photo that vaguely resembles. You'll get equivalent results, I feel. I don't feel like you're morally wrong for doing that, as much as I say that, and I don't feel like you're morally wrong for feeding the machine when it comes to memes, but like you need to acknowledge, like people need, like you, the royal you, like it need, like people need to acknowledge, the public needs to acknowledge that, you know, if it's not good like this, it's not good like that, because these things do not exist in a vacuum, and it's important that we don't make the distinction, because AI doesn't make the distinction, and the corporations won't make the distinction either. Anyway.
Yeah.
You got any thought on that?
Not really. Not really. Other than like, there are some that are like I think are fine, but the problem with it is like if you're fucking going on character AI and talking to the spy from TF2, that's also funding. Like, oh yeah, that also will eventually go towards a script that someone's writing at some point, and it's like, man, I just want to make it funny. I just want to have a funny.
Yeah, I think there are applications for it, like character AI in some cases, because I've seen a lot of cases where like Twitter artists and people who are very like well known or like independent media owners of any kind, really, who are like, hey, my characters exist on character AI without my consent. I don't like that. And it's like there should be, I think there should be like very strict regulation, and even then, like the final point, AI is just dodgy at best. Like like, in the best possible interpretation, AI is a fucking, like, a complete, like, sketchy mess. Like, it's a very gray area of just, like, is that okay to do? I don't know if that's okay to do, you know? I don't think it is. You know, but like again, I'm not gonna do things like calling someone out because they're using like a fucking AI image generation software, because they're like booting up DALL-E 2 and typing in, is that even the same thing anymore? And whatever, they're booting up like DALL-E 2 and typing in like medieval village and like dragon, and just like taking those images and using them for their D&D campaign. If they have something like weirdly specific that stock images can't, you know, and stock art can't really fulfill. But even in those cases, I still like side eye a little bit of just like, yeah, I don't know if I approve, but I'm not going to scold you for it. You know, I'm not going to high horse about that kind of usage. You know, it's usually just like public facing stuff, even on that caliber, where I really start to, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something that I can't really put forward with in the cold light of day. Anyway. I think we should probably move on.
Yeah.
Do you got anything you want to transition into from here, or shall I?
I transitioned to the last one, but I have a decent transition.
Fancy Pants does 2 transitions. Wow. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I could do 2 in a row. Cryptid photography.
Cryptid photography?
Yeah, this leads in well, because I saw earlier a post today about, it was the Tasmanian tiger, I think, about it's like there's this guy who insists that it's still real.
The Tasmanian devil? Because the Tasmanian tiger was a real thing that went extinct. Yes.
Yeah, no, they're saying that it's still real.
Oh, they're saying that the Tasmanian tiger is real.
Living.
That there's still some out there we just don't know about.
They had gotten like an interview with this anonymous person who took photos, quote unquote, took photos of this Tasmanian tiger. And it's just like terrible when you look at it for more than like 5 fucking seconds. Cause it's like, first of all, even if you have one moment to take a photo of something with your camera, you will at least center the thing you are trying to take a photo of. Like, you aren't gonna like fucking quick turn and snap a photo at the same. That's not how, like, nobody would do that. So like that's the first thing that's weird. But also like they get the lighting wrong, and they were pretty sure that either this was just a terrible Photoshop or it's AI. And like, I think it's funny because no goddamn cryptid photography actually looks decent. Like,
well, yeah, you'd be able to see that it's a guy in a suit, or like a shitty like fake taxidermy mock-up of a real animal, and or like an AI generated image if they had it in literally any viewable quality.
But it's just like, I don't know, I feel like there's a market for that. of like get a cryptid.
Oh, it's like a fiction, yeah, for sure. Jed, are you operating under the assumption that cryptids are real? I'm sure there would be better photos if they were. Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that if you're trying to convince somebody that cryptids are real, you could do a better job than that. Try harder.
Clearly they can't, or they would, you know? Like, that's the thing about it with this whole, like, cryptid thing of just like, Bigfoot's real and I saw him and I took a picture, and it's like, all right, first of all, this is the lowest quality image I've ever seen. If you spent even $30 to own a smartphone in current year, you have a better camera than that on your device that you carry around with you ever.
My Nokia works fine.
I think the cryptozoology thing is really cool, by the way. I'm not trying to shit on anybody. Like, I don't think it's real. I don't believe in it, but I do, however, like, the people who, like, acknowledge, like, yeah, these are all just scary stories, but, like, you know, in, like, an SCP sort of way, where it's like, yeah, sure, this is just kind of a spooky little, like, fiction that we're telling here, you know? But, like, when it comes down to it, it's just, like, I don't believe the shitty photos if they exist in current day. If it's like, oh, somebody caught this Polaroid of Mothman in 1986, you know, that's fine. Sure, I can suspend my disbelief that far. However, when you're showing me, like, here's a photo taken of a Tasmanian tiger 3 days ago, it's just like, 3 days ago? Really? And there wasn't, like, a decent quality camera anywhere in the vicinity? Everybody's got a phone. Pretty much, like everybody's got a phone on them at some point, and pretty much every phone sold today comes equipped with it. You would have to find one. You have to go so far out of your way to find a portable device to carry on you that doesn't have a camera that can make calls, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you have to go out of your way to find those these days, you know? And even then, it's just, like, I don't believe that you and your buddies went out into the woods to find Bigfoot, found him, and the best thing that you could take a photo with was, like, a fucking, like, shitty knockoff GoPro from, like, fucking 2005. I don't buy it at all.
Yeah. And, like, I don't know, man. It's kind of disappointing to me because it's one of those, like...
No, yeah, I wish they were cooler.
I don't think that we should be tricking people. But if you're going to try...
At least have the decency to try. You know, really put your all into it.
Like, this
if you're going
Tasmanian
to attempt
tiger,
to trick a bunch of people.
This specific Tasmanian tiger photo that I saw had, like, the flashlight was pointing at the tiger, but the, like, shadow was facing directly to the left. And it's like, dog, that is not how shadows work. That is not even a little bit how shadows work. Like, how did you fuck that up that bad?
I don't know.
And then, like, play it off as real.
I think there's, like, I think they almost enjoy it. I think there's, like, not really so much of a fulfilled market in realistically depicting them in photography. Because A, that's, like, you know, a hell of a trick to pull off seamlessly. And B, it's, I think, to some extent, that the people who are into cryptids, who are like, if you're into cryptids, you like to use your imagination, you know? I think that, like you already have a very active imagination if you're willing to, like, stretch your disbelief to believe in cryptids. But I think they almost like the shitty photo. Like, I think if you had a crystal clear version of someone's interpretation of, not like a Tasmanian tiger, because that existed. Like, there are photos of those. There's no real interpreting that. But I feel like with things like Mothman, or, like, Bigfoot, or like the beaver shark, I feel like taking shitty quality photos. Yeah, don't worry about him. I think taking shitty quality photos kind of, like, emboldens these people of just like, oh yeah, you could see it there. You know, it's like it's like they're allowed to. It's like they're seeing photo proof, but they're allowed to, like, twist it in their mind to look exactly how they think it looks. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's definitely part of it.
Yeah. And, like, there's definitely some merit to that. Like Blair Witch Project. Nobody's taken found footage videos like that, dude. Not a single person in the world. Like, found footage is a concept more than it is a real thing.
Blair Witch is presented to you as a fiction from minute one.
Oh,
so there's that
no,
level
yeah, and that's what I mean.
There's that level of, like, suspension of disbelief of just, like, yeah, all right, I could buy that these fucking idiots went out into the woods with a camera and documented literally, like, every minute of it that was interesting, you know?
Yeah, and, like, that's what I mean, is that, like, Blair Witch works because it is a fiction, but because they're posing it as not a fiction, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for cryptids like that.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. It doesn't really work all that well. But you know, speaking of fictions that we find interesting, new Amazing Digital Circus came out. Sticking in that sort of realm of, like, internet scary stories and cryptids and whatnot.
Yeah.
I quite like it. A lot of people on Twitter had a big fuss about it, about some of the characterizations in the show, and, like, how they were different from episode 1. I think it wasn't really different. It just sort of fleshed what was already there, and people didn't want to see what was already there because lol hot bunny character. I think that's a lot of people's problem.
I don't know if I'll ever understand that, because that motherfucker looks like he's from
I don't
Gumby,
get it either.
Dude.
He looks like he's made out of wax. Dude. Like, he looks like he's like rubber. I don't like it.
I'm Ace Arrow, so I could say that I might be wrong on it, but who the fuck is into, like, Gumby, dog? But
I'm sure there's
either
somebody.
way.
I got an interesting Google search to make later to find out. But
personal Google search, make sure you window.
Yeah, I gotta pull up the Firefox private tab for this one.
I can appreciate it because I can appreciate the interpretation of, because it's very obvious, and I don't know if they actually stated it, but everybody is like, yeah, no, this is, I have no mouth and I must scream. And I can appreciate the interpretation that isn't direct, like, the hate speech, where it's the speech that Am makes about hate. I hate referring to it as a hate speech, but it's funny.
The hate speech.
Yeah, well, he goes on, like, a whole diet. You haven't seen it, and you need to.
I have. I've seen that clip. I'm familiar with, like, the speech about hate that you're talking about. And the more clips I get, the more I do want to eventually just commit down to it.
Yeah, and, it's like 45 minutes.
And really just, like, buckle down for a night and give it an interpretation. I didn't know that the adaptation was, like, headed by the author, like, by the original author, and also the original author acts in it. So there's a lot of, as like, the central, like, characters. So there's a lot of that in there. A lot of that, like, authenticity and authorial intent that would be lost potentially if someone else were to play that character. And so that's where my interest in it begins. Is like, I'm interested in the concept too. I'd be interested regardless, but, like, I'm very interested in that sort of angle on it, of just like, yeah, no, the author was very deeply involved to the point where he acted in it, you know. And I've heard clips and bits and pieces of performances, and I'm very like enthralled by it and entranced by the performance.
Yeah, there's, like, one specific audio drama version of it that's really good, and everybody talks about it. I think that's the one that he performs in. And then there's just the audiobook, and they both have their own merit. I generally like the performance one a little bit better, just because instead of talking about things, they try to actually, like, describe it to a degree, or describe it by mimicking it.
It's an audio drama.
Yeah, and I appreciate it a lot more, but, like, I appreciate that the Amazing Digital Circus is taking that concept.
Just completely trip on that, why don't you?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it back.
You.
That was a hell of a workout. I noticed that I did that a second ago. It's just like but, like, I got stuck for, like, a second, and I was like, and I continued, and I realized, oh, Jed's being very professional. Jed didn't like mock that or anything like he normally would. And then I heard you do it, and I just couldn't stop myself.
No, because I'm a professional. You claim to be such prior. But I can appreciate that they are taking this concept of an AI that just despises human beings and will torture them to a degree of just, like, complete gone. Like, you are a shell of what you once were. And I can appreciate doing that in, like, a haha silly funny cartoon in a way that isn't, like, Sonic EXE type of thing, where it's like,
I think adding I've always been a big guy for this, for things like Five Nights at Freddy's and other analog horrors. I'm not usually a big analog horror guy, but like the base concepts of it and when done well can really get to me. I'm not, but like I think taking something like you know, Five Nights at Freddy's or like The Amazing Digital Circus, where it's like, oh, we're gonna take this topic and slap a like completely other coat of paint on it to really like mask it behind like childishness or behind, you know, like Doki Doki Literature Club with things like, oh, we're gonna mask this behind being a normal visual novel. And I think that like elevates the horror, whether it be like actual horror or like just sort of existential dread, you know, like in Digital Circus. I feel like that's makes it better to me, almost, that it's not so raw. I think serving it raw can be good. I think cases like that where you really just bear all directly to your audience, when it comes to like media like that, can be it can be an intense and enthralling experience all its own. But I like when it's just in glimpses. I like when it's like everything is just that little bit off and it's always ever present, in the media itself, of just like, no, I know there's something off here, and they're dropping lines of dialogue or little like context clues to present to me that something is more off than I'm seeing, but I'm not quite sure what it is, and then becoming more aware of it as time goes on, and just like they bring you up to a boil, and then once you're at that boil, it simmers out very fast back to normal, and so it feels like it hits a lot harder when you bear all for like 5 minutes out of a 50-minute thing, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like it really like solidifies it, because like experiencing real horror like that, if you were to be not that I'm in a like, you better start believing in digital circuses, son, because you're in one. Not because I'm like, not because I'm of that like camp or anything, but because like when you have like an existential crisis, or like have a moment, like a momentary lapse like that, it's not long. It feels like forever, but it's really like 5 fucking minutes, at least for me. Maybe I'm just fucking manic. But whenever I have thoughts like that, they never stick. They kind of just like, whenever something like that comes up, it sort of like hits me at first and then just like worms its way into a corner of the back of my mind and then like comes back at like an inopportune moment. And so I like it when media can sort of emulate that feeling, because like when you're having an existential crisis, you are not having an existential like break for fucking days at a time. You're having them you're having one long one over like short bursts, you know?
I think a pretty good example of that was the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared show. I think they did a pretty good job of like padding out the runtime with a lot of just like silly bullshit, and then just like a couple moments of like, holy fuck, and then back to it. You know, I think that show worked a lot better as a show rather than a 2-minute video.
I thought it worked well short form, but I thought it definitely did work better as a long form piece of content.
Yeah, and I think that show actually did a good job with getting out bits better as well, because it went from being
they were just giving more room to breathe.
Show, yeah, to being a genuine comedy that like you and I will reference on the daily. Not necessarily on the daily. We used
What about
to,
my
but...
shredder? What about my shredder? I'm struggling to think of another bit that stuck as well as that one, actually. But that one's really
stuck really well. That one's funny, because that one, if you haven't seen it, you should. But it's just
that
a
one's
scene
just so out of nowhere, and it's so extended, you know?
Yeah. They released an actual book. It's a $20 book that is front to back 300 pages of what about my shredder.
Yeah. Oh, that's shredder. Official?
I bought it for a friend. Yeah, I bought it for a friend.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, no, it's official. That's why I bought it. I wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't official, because it was just like, this is $20 for a book that, you know, is genuinely worthless.
Right.
But it's just it was more of like a beacon to support the creators.
Yeah, just an avenue through which you could really like get in there and support them.
Yeah, and I don't know. I really liked the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared show.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. That sort of thing can be executed on very poorly too, in my opinion. Like it's very easy to,
Yeah.
it's very easy to fuck that up. You get something like, and hot take here, the Walton Files, or you get something where it's like very clearly you've managed to fuck it up and make it simple. I think the Man in the Suit had a lot of potential. I think it's really bad
I don't
though.
remember that one.
That's the one about the original like Godzilla actor who like fucking like spent so much time in the suit and like got irradiated and fucking like melded the suit into his flesh. It's really stupid.
Goofy.
It's really goofy in concept, and I was just like, okay, this one's probably gonna be silly to watch, and it's just like really bad. It's not good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I can appreciate some quote unquote horror like that. I thought the Walton Files were fine. I think they were a bit too derivative.
Yeah, I think if they were a little less Five Nights and a little more their own thing, I think they could. Like, 'cause it
if
felt
they were
like
a
the
little
Walton
less
Files.
Five Nights, a little more at Freddy's.
Yeah, I feel like the Walton Files was very much just, hey, I don't like the direction of Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm gonna make my fucking own one. And, like, maybe not with that much aggression, of course. But,
Yeah.
like, there was just a point with it where it's just like, okay, you clearly just... This is what you want, you know? And that's fine. That's alright. But, like,
Yeah.
it just sort of... it just sort of got me to a point where I was just like, I don't know that I appreciate it. You know, I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't hate this, but this is already being done. It's like that fucking T-Pain video, just like, the music you're making is already being done. There are two motherfuckers with baby in their name who are making that kind of music. Make your own. You know, do your own shit. You know? And that's how it feels to me, genuinely, is just like, come on.
Yeah. Do something original. Try something new.
Yeah, do your own thing.
Try,
if your own thing is derivative. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, no, just try and be willing to fail miserably. And if honestly, if you see some really bad horror or some really bad project that's like, man, this is dog shit. Don't harp on it too bad, especially if it's from like a younger creator, because it might be their first time.
Right,
and
right.
a lot of times, like, shit, go back, look at some of Scott Cawthon's shit. Scott Cawthon, I don't like him. I definitely don't like his old work.
I do not like him.
Yeah, I mean, I do you want to say you do?
No, I'm not gonna endorse him, but like,
Yeah,
it's just like a funny way to put it. Scott Cawthon.
Yeah.
I do not like him.
Scott Cawthon, I do not like him. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think it is important to remember that we're all just people trying to make things.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are trying to make things for clout, and those people deserve to be bullied. But for the most part, if you see someone expressing creativity, fucking leave it alone. Don't be mean. You can criticize all you want. In fact, that kind of thing I find is very helpful on a case-by-case basis, of course. If somebody just like isn't accepting criticism, I don't really agree with that. But if they're at a point where they're like, please don't criticize my work, I don't want to hear it, you know, just leave them be. But like, not everything is gonna be good, and some things can be derivative. If you see something like a Five Nights at Freddy's that's like a popular thing, and you're just like, I think I could do that better, take your own swing at it. Worst case, you get some experience out of it. You know, worst case, you've made a thing today. But no, yeah, it's just a fucking thing, really. It's just one of those things where, like, you know, creativity is a lot, and no ideas are truly original is sort of an ideology that gets thrown around a lot. But I think when people say things like that, they're like, oh, well, this is a ripoff of that. And it's like, well, nothing is truly original. It's like, no, this is a ripoff of that. It's not inspired by, it genuinely is that thing. Like, I think a lot of people are being facetious with I want to let you know, you fucked that up like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I know.
And every time I say facetious, I think about it, and it trips me up.
I didn't fuck it up. My family has a thing where we fuck up funny words to make them sound even funnier. And facetious is one of those where it's just like it's kind of like word vomit, but that's what that was. That wasn't a genuine fuck up.
Oh, okay. I thought you genuinely fucked it up.
No. It's
and
just
that's
funny
why I
to
make
like.
so much fun of you with it.
No, it's just like facetious, you know.
Facetious.
Bass Ackwards is another one. That one's
Bass
more
Ackwards isn't yours. Yeah, that one belongs to the people.
That one belongs to the people. Yeah. You know what else?
But no, yeah. What else? What else?
What else belongs to the people? And by the people, I mean you.
What?
Dude Cool 12.
Oh, you want to talk about Dude Cool 12? I just got an email from Bethesda, but like we'll talk about that in a minute. I got an email from them like half an hour ago. I haven't read it yet. I'll let you tell the story. We'll tell the story together. I'll probably cut in at some point, but I'll let you start telling the story while I check out that email.
Yeah. So I have been on a Fallout kick. I've been on a huge Fallout kick, and I was like, you know what? Fallout 76. I've been told it's good now. It's better. Like they patched some stuff. Have your time with it. If you liked Fallout, you should play it. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna play it. And I played through Fallout 4. I did a little bit on stream. I've played through New Vegas a bunch of times. I will come back to 3 at some point. But I was like, okay, 76 is the one that I need to go back to. And maybe I could get some of my friends involved. So I asked one of my friends, and I asked Vox, and they were both like, I don't know if I want to fork out the money. And I realized that I accidentally bought 2 keys for Fallout 76, and I was like, okay, well, here you go, Vox, and here you go, the other friend. Because it was like $6. I bought it on CD keys. It was on
CD keys, which I don't really condone unless you're not buying an indie game. If you're buying an indie game, don't use use like a service like that. But if you're buying from like Bethesda, fuck them. They can stand to lose a few bucks.
If you're buying like Bethesda or Microsoft, that's how I always do it. But so like we sign in, we get through the tutorial. Vox and I make our character. We're waiting for another friend to show up. Vox and I make our character. And I'm like, okay, what's your Bethesda name so we can, meet up in the same world. So I'm like, okay, press escape and then press the social button. And I look at it and it says Dude Cool 12. And I was like, oh, that's fucking funny. You're Dude Cool 12. And he got like mad about it. You got like, I don't want to be Dude Cool 12. I want to be me, which you're mad for good reason. But it was funny, so like it was.
I wasn't mad at you. I need to specify. I was mad at Bethesda because it's like, what the fuck? Because Bethesda has this practice apparently, where if you sign into like the Fallout 4 mod thing, or if you even play a game like Doom, I got it from Doom. Doom 1993 requires a Bethesda account to play. It does not tell you this. It just makes you a Bethesda account and links it with your Steam, based on your Steam information. It doesn't pull your username. It randomly assigns you one. And so I guess at the time I got dude_cool12, and I haven't played an online Bethesda game ever, so I haven't bothered to, like, I haven't even known. I didn't even look at it. Jed just shows up in front of me after I invite him. I didn't look at my own username because I assumed it was right, because I assumed they'd pull it from my Steam. And then Jed just goes, oh, hey, dude, cool 12, and starts chuckling at me. And I'm just like, oh, that's funny. And we have a good laugh about it. And then I'm spending like 2 hours trying to figure out how to get into this dude, cool 12 account to set my username properly, or at least set it to my regular Bethesda account. And I try, and I can't get it to work. And so I eventually come to the conclusion that you can't. You gotta call, like, support or not DM, but email support, and like, hey, my shit's broke, can you fix it? And they have to like have someone go in and fix it for you. And so I email them and I send it over, but the entire 2 hours I'm trying to fix this, Jed is still like laughing at me having to exist as Dude Cool 12. And even when it's a harmless joke.
It's a funny name.
It's a funny name. It's a really funny name. But even if it's a harmless joke, having someone laugh at you while you're like, because I was like, oh, dude, I can't. It won't let me sign into the account. I don't know the password. And Jed would go, you don't know the password to Dude Cool 12? And start chuckling again. I'm like, motherfucker, this is serious. This shit is for real, you know? I'm gonna have to be stuck like this.
I'm thinking about the motherfucker who picks the name Dude Cool 12, you know?
Yeah, the guy who would go in and decide he wants to be Dude Cool 12. Not that, and it's even funnier that they would just bestow it upon you like a fucking ancestral title.
It's your name, dude. It is yours.
It's permanently attached to me now.
Yeah. Did the email say anything?
I haven't read the email yet. I was ordering Taco Bell on my phone.
Why?
Did you know when you order on the Taco Bell app? I'm so glad I have my mic muted. When you order on the Taco Bell app and you finalize it, it makes the Taco Bell noise really loud. Like full volume. I did not have my phone up that high, but like full volume. If I could boom at you when you place the order. And the thing is, I was doing payment. I was typing in my credit card information while we were talking just now, and I hit send on it. It goes, uh-oh, something went wrong. We couldn't place your order. And I was like, oh well, I'll do it again. I'll try again. And I try a second time, and it doesn't give me a notification or anything. So I go to try a third time, and while I'm typing my info in the third time in the little pop-up window, the window behind it confirms my order from the second time and makes this loud jump scare Taco Bell noise at me. But anyway, to round out that story, let me check my email on my phone real quick. Because I swear I got an email from them just earlier today. Oh, I'm in my trash folder. That's why I can't find it. So I was trying to look to see if it went there. Bethesda support ticket. Wow.
All right.
Greetings! My name is John from Bethesda Customer Support. We apologize for the delay. John Bethesda himself. We apologize for the delay and appreciate your patience. We're currently receiving a higher than usual volume of inquiries. This is sounding kind of automated, John. We're happy to help you unlink your Steam profile. But can you answer the secret question for this account set as what is your favorite dessert? Can you give us any redeemed codes on this Bethesda.net account? And can you, the current Fallout 76 Atom balance and the date this account was created? Once we have received all this information, all of it, or just some of it. No, it just says this information. Once we receive this information, we will continue to assist you with your request and reach back out to you for anything further required. Looking forward to your reply.
Can you guess the number I'm thinking
John
of?
from Bethesda Customer Support. I need like a login code. Does it say? I'm sorry. I need like the secret passphrase. Like it's funny that they call the security question. It's funny that they call the security question like the secret question.
Yeah, the secret question.
Do so. Provide as much of the following information as possible.
Okay.
Okay, so I could probably just give them my Atom balance is 0 right now. You know, I could probably just give them that, and that would be enough. I doubt it, but maybe.
0, it's at 50, but
it's at 50 by default. Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah, well, you said it was at 50, so.
Oh, I said it was at 50. When? It doesn't matter. I know when I said it, but I just why do they give you 50? I don't know. Maybe it was with the code. Who knows? Or maybe it's just a starting bonus. I don't fucking know. But moving on from Dude Cool 12, I'm glad we're getting live updates. Well, live for me. This is resolved by the time this comes out. I hope.
Hopefully, you might just be
I've resolved that. I'm extending the deadline, but my resolution on this was a couple days ago was I'm tired of holding everybody up. If I have to be Dude Cool 12 to play the game, I'll be Dude Cool 12. I don't mind. But the thing about it was just if they don't email me back by Monday, I'm just gonna fucking play the game as Dude Cool 12. And they emailed me back, but it's gonna be an ongoing interaction. So I'll give them the week. Which sucks, but I'll see about it. Speaking of things that suck, this Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight is really something. I got thoughts. I don't know if you got
fucking hilarious.
I think it's silly. I think it's really silly because I'm getting clips, right? I'm getting clips now of fight conferences for it. You know, and everybody knows what a fight conference is. It's where the two fighters sit down and they answer questions and they hang out and they kind of shoot their shit at each other for a minute. You know, as promo for the thing. It's like the boxing equivalent to the wrestling promo. In that way, it's much more boring and not fake. But the thing about it was, so Mike Tyson is 60 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Mike Tyson can't fight. That's not what I'm saying. I am, however, saying that Jake Paul knows exactly what he's doing after fighting Floyd Mayweather, who's also well into his senior years now, beyond his fighting prime, you know. And now Mike Tyson, who is 60 years old and also well out of his fighting prime and retired, both of these men.
Not just that.
He's dragging these elderly men out of retirement, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, if I'm gonna fight Mike Tyson, I need headgear." Mike doesn't get any.
Yeah.
I get headgear,
Mike doesn't get
and Mike
any.
has to wear softer gloves, and I have to be able to call a timeout whenever I want. You know,
And I can tag in my brother at any point.
and I can tag in my brother, and not only tag in, because a tag team fight is one after the other. Like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
done,
not
you
even-
fight.
yeah.
He has like given himself a phone-a-friend for a boxing match, where he's allowed to like pull his brother into the fight, and both Paul brothers are able to just start wailing on Tyson without any like. Without
This is a
any like
60-year-old
notice or
man,
anything. This
dude.
is a 60-year-old man. This man is retirement age. He is retired, in fact. He's
Yeah.
retired from he's a retired athlete, which means a lot more than like a retired accountant, where it's like, dude,
Yeah.
not only is this guy like, even if he were like had never fought in his life, like even if he was like even if he had never taken a hit in his life and was still like fighting capable, he's out of his prime. But Mike Tyson's
Yeah.
a guy who's taken some fucking punches. All right, he's dealt his fair share too, more than I'll say. But like, he's taken a couple punches, and the fact of being a retired athlete means he's just like he's completely beyond his prime. And so like that's not the part I want to talk about. I just wanted to emphasize that. I've been getting conference clips, and one of the conference clips that's going around, it's obviously it's Mike Tyson, and it's Logan Paul. And we're sitting across the table from each other at the conference table, and they're taking questions, and this guy comes up, and the ball's on this man, by the way, to his fucking face. Like to say this in front of him at a conference full of people who are pro the fight, in the audience, to walk up to the mic and go, "Yeah, I got a question for Logan. When are you going to stop taking these fucking gimmick fights and fight an actual contender in your weight class? When are you going to come up against somebody who's an actual like weight contender for you and who's your own fucking age, you know?" And then he goes, "And stop taking these gimmick fights." And Mike Tyson looks at him, and then Logan just goes, "Did you just call Mike Tyson a gimmick?" And then Mike goes off on him and goes, "What did you call me?" to this guy, obviously just in like an intimidation. You know, it's all for show, of course. And the guy goes, "I didn't call you nothing. I didn't call you nothing." Because he didn't call him anything. That's not about calling Mike Tyson a fucking, like, it's a great deflect, by the way. Very political.
It is.
But, like say what you will, he does get a crowd going. I don't know what it is about him. I got some negatives. I got plenty of negatives, and that might be my only positive about that guy. But he is a bit of a showman. But like, it's not about Mike. It's obviously Logan's the one taking a gimmick fight. Tyson isn't taking a gimmick fight. This is just a fight for Mike Tyson. In fact, this is pretty much like, I'd consider this if it were prime Mike Tyson, like if it were boxer Mike Tyson. This is punching down, if you'll excuse the mixing metaphor with the actual sport. This is actively punching down for him.
It's punching down anyway.
And I still think
because
it's punching
somebody needs
down.
to have fucking headgear in here. Like, this is a stupid fight, because it's like, he's
setting it up so that he can be in the history books as the guy who beat Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson. But do you think the people reading those history books about boxing aren't gonna like read the fucking exceptions you had to make for that fight of just like, yeah, he beat Floyd Mayweather and he beat Mike Tyson potentially. He hasn't beat him yet, but the fight hasn't happened yet.
Ali. I dug him out of the grave and I like punched his corpse around, and there you go.
Are we going to like include in those rankings the fact that you had to wear you were scared of him and had to wear headgear and like took him down with your brother on the thing, and that he was 60? Are we going to include these facts? I hope so.
I guess not. Because like, genuinely, like, if you look at somebody and go, okay, so a 20-year-old fights a 60-year-old and is too goddamn afraid.
Wild that
and
he's 23, by the way.
Extra.
Wild that the Paul brothers are only... They're 23 to 25. They're in that bracket. I remember him saying his age. No, I remember him saying his age, and he said
20s.
like 23. Unless he was lying, which is possible. I genuinely was like, holy shit. Because he was like 17 on Vine. That makes sense. You know, it lines
27.
up.
Jake
Paul
is 27.
Okay. What about Logan Paul? Logan Paul's the younger
29.
brother. 29.
he's not.
He's the older brother. I was wrong. But like I remember them saying that. And I was like, Jesus Christ. He said 23 in that interview. I know he did. I guess I could have misheard him, but I'm pretty sure he said he was early 20s at least.
Not a shot in hell Logan had his severe lapse in judgment at 17, dude.
Yeah, no, severe and repeated lapse in judgment.
Yeah.
Like, this is the guy filming dead bodies in the woods for views. It's like he's already lame, but he's making himself so much lamer.
Dude.
He's so much lamer for, like, he's like, resorted to, like, from, like, all right, I can't use corpses for views. How close can I get?
Yeah.
How about old people? How about the elderly?
Well, so that's Logan Paul, to be fair, but, like... You know, Jake Paul is the one doing the fight.
No, Logan Paul's the one doing the fight, right? Am I getting my Paul brothers mixed up?
They're the
same
Paul
guy.
Is fighting Mike Tyson.
We're not talking about this. We're not talking about my stupid bullshit conspiracy theory that Mike Tyson, that Logan Paul and Jake Paul are the same guy in, like, disguises. I think it's a really funny joke conspiracy, but, like, I don't want to talk about it further than that.
Yeah, but what a fucking turnaround, though.
Yeah, what a fucking turnaround.
Not in a good way. It's just, like, it's turning around and going onto another dirt road when you could go on, like, the highway, or just stop driving the car. Just stop driving the car at this point. The car is fucked, dude. No matter what road you go down, that shit's gone. Take your money and run.
Yeah, but speaking of turnarounds that are weird and unusual, multiverses came out, and people who embarrass themselves on the internet. This has got to do with people embarrassing themselves on the internet too. Multiverses hasn't come out; it's coming out, and they're releasing new fighters for it. They're doing Multiverses is the, like, Warner Brothers Cartoon Network one with, like, Superman and Finn and Bugs Bunny and the like. Because that's the one where they released the game last year. They totally released it fully. You can't tell me that was a beta from minute one. And then everybody played it for, like, a day as a joke. And then everybody was like, all right, this kind of is ass, though, as a fighting game. Beyond, like, a gimmick fighting game. Hey, it links back to gimmick fights, too. But, like, it's, like, beyond just playing it for the gimmick, now that the gimmick's worn off, this kind of sucks, and everything feels underdeveloped. And then the developers just turned around and went, oh, it is underdeveloped, because it's not done yet. It's a beta. This is an open beta. Haha, tricked you. You guys played an open beta the whole time. Can you believe it? And it's like, no, I don't believe it. I believe you made that shit up so you could redo the game. And they did. Yeah. Fucking shocker. And if it's any good, it's fine. You know, I'll let it slide if it actually ends up being good. But they were announcing new characters. And the way that they do their character menu is they do it in alphabetical order. So the new character slots appeared where the characters would appear alphabetically. And people, like, figured out that, like, all right, one of the new characters starts with BA. Like, because of its placement in the alphabetical order, it has to start with BA. Mm-hmm. Rumor has it it's Banana Guard from Adventure Time, which is a stupid fucking pick. I think it's really silly.
I would main Banana Guard.
I would main him. I want to play this when it comes out, by the way. I think it would be funny. But maybe I'll stream it, maybe I won't. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, like, I saw that and I was like, okay, rumor has it, that's fine. I doubt it's actually Banana Guard, but if it ends up being Banana Guard, that would be fine. I wouldn't put it past them. There are other, like, equivalently, like, why is he here characters in this game. Mm-hmm. So who cares? But then I find out that it really is Banana Guard in the game because they released a trailer for Banana Guard, and it's like, okay, that's kind of silly, whatever. And then I open Twitter and I see a screenshot of a PC Gamer article that I had to double check was real, right? I had to double check that this was real, and it is a real article entitled "Bad News for the Guy Who Said, quote, if they announce Banana Guard for Multiverses, I will cut my balls off," unquote. And it's like, that's such a funny way to title that article. Who said that? Who's betting their nuts on Banana Guard?
And where's the fucking proof, dude? Follow through, motherfucker.
Fess up. You gotta do it on camera. Put it on live leak.
On camera. Christ, fucking Banana Guard, you made me do that.
You did this to
me. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, Banana Guard.
Guard in the game.
Yeah.
It's like their third Adventure Time rep, which I think is funny that they're putting so... It's odd that Warner Brothers still puts so much value on Adventure Time, despite it being a show that's over. I mean, Fiona and Cake's still running. They're gonna do another season of Fiona and Cake, but Banana Guard is like a character you would put in, like a side character you would put in if the show was like in like season 4 or 5, still actively running right now. You know?
Yeah.
Like still like hitting its stride and making you a lot of money, so you want to advertise it, put another one in there. That's why like I have hope for Multiverses, because I didn't play it on its initial release, so I never got any of the like the bad taste that some people got for it. So I definitely want to check it out. And worst case, I own another Garfield Kart-esque game where it's like, this is just silly stupid. You know?
Yeah. Christ. Man.
I do need to preface, I didn't buy Garfield Kart because I thought it would be good.
Well, you didn't buy Garfield Kart.
I didn't buy Garfield Kart.
Free, like,
I got it for free off like a really like shitty website. No, it wasn't abandonware. It was like a website that was just like, hey, do you want free Steam key? Here's our free Steam key of the day. It's Garfield Kart. I was like, this is too good to be true. And I was like, give me your email address and you can have it. And I was like, okay, I'll sign up. I'll make an account.
This is a bad idea.
With my, this is a bad idea, but like, they're not asking me to download anything, so I'm not gonna get like a virus. I'll just give them a throwaway email and then I'll be done. And they actually gave me a key, and I was like, all right, Steam isn't hosting a virus. I'm not gonna put this key into Steam and get a virus. So I'll put the key in and see what happens. I got Garfield Kart. They gave me Garfield Kart. It was real.
Goddamn.
I don't know what the website was. I don't know where to go to find it. But, like, I did get it. I do have Garfield Kart now. And I've had it for a while. But for free.
Yeah. Speaking of cars and carts, I've been doing some car shopping. Because there's an oncoming move for us.
Yeah, we're moving in together. We'll be doing this podcast live at some point.
Yeah, we'll be doing it in the same room. But I need some more space, and my car is kind of old, and it's whatever. I'm car shopping right now. I'm looking through these cars, and I'm looking through like newer cars, 2018, decently priced cars, and I'm looking through them.
Right.
And I was specifically looking at the Subaru Forester, I think, and I was looking at like pros and cons of it, and it was like, okay, so pros are it's spacious, it has good safety features, it's got really great gas mileage. Cons, its touchscreen is small, and I just had this moment of like, that's a fucking con, dude. Why the fuck do I... Not just touchscreen. It's a multimedia screen was gone. Dog, I don't fucking need multimedia in my car. At least not for the driver.
Yeah.
Like, that feels so, like, stupid. Like, why is that a con? In fact, like, the more physical buttons, the better. My current car, I'm pretty happy with it. Because it's just
buttons.
like,
I hate that we live in the era of the death of the physical button. I like when things click. I like to adjust
especially
knobs.
in vehicles.
Especially in vehicles or situations like that where it's like, I need to keep my eyes on the road, but I also want to turn the AC up a little bit, where you can just reach down to where the knob is and has been forever and have physical like feedback of just like, all right, that's the knob. That's how many clicks I've moved it so far. I usually like it about 3 clicks. Doing that with a touchscreen, you get no feedback. There's no way to ensure you're doing what you're doing without looking down at it. I'm not saying that every driver who has one of those screens is like looking over at the screen constantly, but like you kind of would have to be, to operate that vehicle appropriately.
70% of the time too, like my mom has a touchscreen on hers. 70% of the time it's like, okay, let me hook up my phone. Can't do that while it's driving. Can't do that while the vehicle's driving. Why the fuck is it here then? I need to, like, I would like to do something. If this is a multimedia screen, not for the driver, let the not driver do something with it.
Yeah, they don't account that, like, it's like they excuse it on just like, well, the passenger can do it. And then it's like half the features are locked when the car is in motion.
Yeah.
90% of the time you're in this vehicle, those features aren't going to be usable. You either do it right when you get in or right when you get out, and that's it. And it's just like, that's fucking dumb, then. It's just an excuse to be able to do that without endorsing people to look away from the road and getting away with it legally.
Another pet peeve I have with cars, I fucking hate push-button transmission shifters. I love my... Yeah, shut the fuck up. I love my cars, like, get in it, press down the button, and crank it back, dude. Just all the way back. It's so satisfying. I know exactly how much pressure to do, where I can literally like press it with a finger and it'll go all the way back. It's fucking like one fantastic.
Of those. It's like, those like old Dell desktops that had the big ass power button like circular on the front of it, and you click it in and it makes like a ding dong, Like you can hear the spring in the button. Dude, I love those. If I could get a PC case with that today that could accommodate modern parts, I'd fucking go for it.
Like, motherfucker, why do I need to have a button that puts it in park? When I park, I want it to be like fucking... Like, I want it to be in there, dude. I want it to be...
You want more confirmation out of a fucking like, multi-ton machine that you're driving.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You don't want to be hucking around thousands of pounds of metal operated by a touchscreen you can't look at.
Yeah, or I don't know, those shifter buttons, they just always get to me, because I remember the first time I got into my grandma's car, and I hadn't, like, seen her in a very long time, and I got into her front seat, and I looked down, and she presses a button, and then starts driving, and I'm like, what? And I look down, and I'm like, where the fuck is the shifter? Where did that motherfucker go? They stripped him. Bring it back.
He's gone.
I want it back. He's gone. And like, to be fair, any car after probably 2014, that motherfucker is nowhere near a transmission. That shifter.
Any car born after 2014 can't drive or be put in park. All they know is touchscreen, eat hot gas, and lie.
Eat hot gas. No, but like the shifters don't get anywhere near the touchscreen 90% of the time. Where it's like that knob is a digital thing with like feedback that is not, it's artificial.
It's one of those like artificial like vibration feedback things. I kind of hate those in most cases. Like, because like that tech is incorporated into a lot of controllers these days. The Steam controller does it well, and the Steam Deck does it pretty well with its touch pads, but it's not the whole point. I hate like the things like, God, was it Google who did like a service where the controller was just completely flat? I know there are some VR companies doing it too, where there are just no fucking buttons on the controller. It's just a flat surface that you kind of just have to like eyeball. It's worse with VR controllers, in my opinion, when it's all touch. Yeah, because it's like, dude, I got a fucking like brick on my face. I can't look down at that. You know?
Yeah.
And in theory, it'd be nice for like an ever adapting VR layout. In theory, you know?
Yeah. Man, I think that the touchpads are pretty cool to a degree.
I don't use them much.
Also terrible. I think that they're also terrible.
My right one makes a click. I didn't. It clicks like I spilled something in it, and I didn't. I know I didn't. It just got really cold one winter, and it just like it kind of crunches when you first use it, and then as you continue to use it for a game, it gets better. But like,
I don't think they actually move. I think that's all from the motor underneath it. So it might just be
no. They physically like it. Like you can hear the like crunch of the plastic as it like back into place a little bit. I don't know what happened. They do move, like, they don't, like, move, but as you apply pressure to the touchpads, they have, like, an up and down, like, they have, like, a springiness about them where you can push them down, or like, when you let up on them, they come back up. It's not much, it's, like a millimeter or two, but it's enough it's enough to feel it, and it's enough for, like, something to get caught in there or something, I guess, but I, like, the winter, like, I got mine in, like, a November last year, or year before last, and like by January it was doing that. The other touchpad's fine. I genuinely don't know what happened, and it gets better after like 5 minutes, but like, you know.
Yeah.
It just gets stuck. I like the Steam Deck though. I think the Steam Deck is a fantastic piece of hardware. I think it's way better than the Index. I think the Index is fine. Yeah. It just like has a lot of faults. I think Valve really hit their stride with making hardware. And so it makes me hopeful that their next VR headset will be good too, because I like VR a lot. I don't get in it as much often as I used to when I bought my Index, but like every now and again a game will release, like Toy Train's VR most recently, or the new FNAF game in VR, and I'll go, I want to play that, and then I have a decent VR headset to play it with, and that's all I really need out of it. You know, I don't need new hardware, or facial tracking, or any of those gimmicks. I just need to be able to get in and play a fucking game in decent quality.
That Steam's hardware is really nice. I think they do a good job with software as well, like just in general with the SteamOS updates and their upcoming game. What is it called?
It's called Deadlock. Do you want to talk more about that? I don't have much to talk about it, but we don't have much information right now. But
yeah, we don't have much.
Their new game is Deadlock, and it is a class-based, like, Valorant, Overwatch tower shooter, or not tower shooter, but tower defense in some way. It's got, like, Bioshock skyhooks in it. It used to be Neon Prime, And so they
Yeah.
rebranded it and everything, and you know, at some point during the development recently they've changed it up. And it's the most important thing about it is, though, because like, big deal, new Valve projects get leaked every fucking week. Like, something being worked on at Valve gets leaked usually instantly. So it's just like, you know, and none of it ever comes to fruition. So it's just like, oh, sure, the latest like attempt at Half-Life 3 that they did, it's cool to look at, but it's not, you know, it's not something that'll be tangible or playable ever. I'm not worried about it, you know. But this is in a closed alpha right now. It's playable, and everything they've ever put into a closed alpha like that in recent times has come out. It's at a point now where like they consider it public facing, and so they're probably going to put it out. We got a lot of the information we got from people abusing Valve, because this is why Valve leaks a lot. They don't use NDAs. I found this out recently. They never make anybody, even their employees, sign an NDA. They work on a self-proclaimed "don't be a dick" policy, which works really well.
Yeah.
We don't have, considering we don't have like a build of the game that's been leaked or anything, but like the screenshots we've been given and things like that, we're expecting Valve to like properly announce it sometime soon, and I can't wait. I think it's gonna be good. A lot of people are like, "Oh, this looks like ass. This is gonna be shitty. I'm gonna fucking hate it." But it's like, look at yourself. Look at yourself. Look at Valve's catalog, and I don't care what you think about Half-Life. I don't care what you think about Portal. I don't care what you think about Counter-Strike or TF2. Valve has never, like, no accounting for taste, but Valve has never released anything other than an objectively good game.
Yeah.
They don't release a lot, you know, but I don't think a single thing Valve has ever put out, including things like Ricochet, can be called anything other than objectively, like, all right to good, you know? Yeah. They've never released a bad title, and I don't expect that they'll begin releasing bad titles now. You know?
I have to say,
I have a lot of faith in them on their history. You kind of wish?
From what I saw, I kind of wish that they went for a more Valve style. I don't know. It's a little bit too much Valorant for me. But, you know, to be fair, we saw like a screenshot and a half. Like,
there are currently 4 screenshots out, and 2 of them are like, they're a little samey. So you see 2, and you've seen most of what's out.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing to me, is just like, again, we haven't seen a lot of it, and this game was like a sci-fi game like a month or 2 ago. So it's still trying to find its footing, and I'm sure they'll like iron that out before it's even announced or released. You know, like, Valve has a big history of, well, they also have a history of releasing good games. They have a history as well of, hey, this game looks very different to what you announced a couple months ago. This game looks very aesthetically different. For the better, but it definitely does. Like, if you look at the development history of any Valve game, there will be an era where it's like, yeah, they were under this wildly different aesthetic, and then they started to find their footing, and then they found it, and it came out really unique. I'm expecting... Yeah, I'm expecting that, like, that happened with the Portal franchise, both games. That happened with both Half-Life games and the episodes, even. Not as much with the episodes, considering they're basically just, like, expansions. But, like, they still had some, like, stylistic changes with their unique elements that were a little bit different. You could see it with TF2, because TF2 has a long history because of how Team Fortress Classic looked, and how, like, they diverted from that. That one, I think, is the most well-known. But, like, I think we're in that, like, we've just diverged from what the original aesthetic was, being, like, a sci-fi thing. As a huge departure from that, we decided we want to go fantasy. We're not quite sure what the game looks like yet. Like, that's where I think they're at. And maybe I'm coping, but I think by the time that we are able to sit down at our computers and install Deadlock on Steam, I think it will be a much more unique and better looking, more Valve-y looking game.
I definitely hope so. For sure. Like, I genuinely do think that I'm excited for more Valve things. I'm a sucker for Portal, so part of me is like, well, work on another Portal game, please. Add something. Work on something similar to it, but, you know, I'll take a competitive team shooter. Like, that's fine. Speaking of...
It seems like the Counter-Strike side of Valve is starting to win with things like, like the competitive gaming side of Valve, I should say, because they're making more Counter-Strikes and more Dotas and more Like and like they're even giving TF2 a little bit of love recently. Like all their like live service. I don't want to say live service. Live service means a thing, but like all their like online shooters and their competitive shooters, they're really putting a hammer down on. Which, as someone who enjoys Valve's single player experiences more than their online experiences, not that their online stuff is bad, but like it's just, you know, the single player stuff is more my cup of tea. I like the more curated experience. I play Counter-Strike every now and again. I get my head blown off 16 times in 10 seconds, dude. They give you no time to learn that game. And then I'm done. TF2 I can last a little longer in, but even that
TF2 could be stupid fun.
TF2 has the capacity to be stupid fun with friends, and I feel like Valve does that really well. I feel like they do competitive shooters really well. I'm just not sure competitive shooters are my thing. But I'm glad they're releasing something. I'm glad to see a new Valve project come out. I'm glad to see, especially since it's the project they've been working on since Half-Life Alyx wrapped. Like, that's what's been eating all of Valve's, like, developers and development time, is people working on this specific thing. And so I'm really hoping that, like, by the time this comes out, they'll go, hey, all those developers who were working on that, they'll obviously keep a bunch of them for, like, hey, let's do upkeep. But they'll fucking nail in on, like, here's a new thing that we want to work on. It's a sequel, or even if it's a new thing, I'm fine with that. I just want a new Valve single player experience. Just give it to me, please. I'm begging. Anyway, you wish?
I wish that, speaking of like competitive shooters, I'm thinking.
You're thinking?
I'm thinking about competitive shooters, and I'm thinking about Fortnite, and I'm thinking about Fortnite and having their most recent collab that got released or announced, which is the Fallout collab. I think that could be
they're
really
doing Fallout
cool.
and Fortnite. Right, I forgot
They
about that.
are. I think that the community is coping hard because they're like, oh man, we're gonna see like fucking, dude, we're gonna see the Courier or like Frank Horrigan. That could be so cool if we could see Frank Horrigan. No fucking way, dude. We are going to get Lucy. We are going to get Maximus, and we are going to get the Ghoul. We are going to get the most popular things out of it.
The Courier, the only thing I think that's stopping the Courier is the fact that it's an Obsidian property. Like, Bethesda owns it, right? Bethesda, like, fully owns it and could do something with him. But, like, I think he's the most iconic Fallout protagonist. We might get, like, a generic Vault Dweller also. Like, we might just get, like, the default Fallout 4 guy in a Vault, like a Vault 101
John Fallout.
suit. Yeah, we might get John Fallout as a guy that's playable from the games. I don't have high hopes that we get the Courier, but you have to acknowledge the Courier is, aside from like the power armor, I'd say the Courier is like the most iconic Fallout protagonist look.
Not the Courier, and that's what bugs the shit out of me. That's never been the Courier. That's just an NCR Ranger.
The Courier isn't portrayed as it's been adopted as the Courier's look, and the game doesn't ever take the time to dispute that could be the Courier. You know?
Well, I mean, if at the end of Lonesome Road, you'll see like the back of him where he's wearing like a trench coat.
Yeah, he's wearing a new outfit. Fuck it.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. That's always been a pet peeve of mine. Of like, just because it's the box art doesn't mean that that's the Courier. Where it's just like, I don't know. It bugs me to a degree of like, man, I wish, fuck it. If we saw Frank Horrigan in Fortnite, that's fucking cool, dude. Why are you referencing this Fallout 2 character? I don't know. I dig it.
I think that if we get anything, you make a good point in that I think we'll get like, here's an NCR guy. Here's maybe T60. One of like Caesar's Legion or something. I don't know. Like just like members of various factions from Fallout, like generic, like faceless. Like here's a raider. Here's a guy, here's an NCR guy, here's a Vault guy, here's a raider. There you go. There's your generic Fallout pack. Maybe they'll try to interpret Vault Boy as like a cell shaded thing, but I think they'll probably reserve him for like a sticker and maybe like a back bling or something. I don't know. But like I doubt that they'll do him that much. I'm excited to see what they do. I don't know that it'll be anything that I'm super interested in purchasing. But I'm excited to find out what they release. I kind of do want to get back into Fortnite again at some point because that was like a very fun period because we got into
Fortnite was a
Fortnite
fun time.
earlier this year and played it for like an entire like the back half of a battle pass season, so like 2 weeks, and we played that pretty consistently, and so we could hop back in that if the Fallout stuff is that interesting. That's a game that I'm fine to just pick up and drop and pick back up when it's like, oh, this new battle pass looks fucking wicked, I'll play it, you know. But I just haven't been doing stuff that I'm super interested in as of late, so I just haven't really been, you know, worried about it.
Yeah. I like Fortnite. I have a good time with Fortnite.
We like Fortnite. We like Fortnite.
We like Fortnite. We like Fortnite.
Did I tell you I knew that guy? Well, knew that guy, as in like I interacted with that guy a couple times. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was in the same like Mario, like Nintendo enjoyer Twitter circle that I was in like 2018. And so it's just like, and before he like,
did you ask him if he liked
had a
Fortnite?
shitload of followers. It was before the We Like Fortnite thing. I followed him before that.
Wow.
And like we had like the lightest Twitter interaction. Like I would reply to one of his posts. He never replied to mine, but he would reply to my replies. And every now and then, like I think one whole time, I DM'd him about something random that he had posted. But we never had like a meaningful friendship. I didn't know that guy. I just like interacted with that guy a couple times. But that's kind of like the circles I run in though. I'm constantly running into internet legends before or after the fact of their internet presence. Like I know a guy who knows, or I know a gal who knows, I should say. Because I know a guy is a very generic term, but it's a lady that knows this person. I know someone who knows and have interacted with for an afternoon the like on all levels except physical I am a wolf person. I've met them, and they're trans now. If you've ever wondered what they're up to, big shocker. The person who likes to pretend to be a wolf is not, you know, gender conforming. And not only that, they're like I think Therian is the word for that, where they're like genuinely like they engage in like animal activity and like to genuinely present as an animal on the odd occasion.
I don't.
And it's like that I don't really understand, but like, you know, to each their own. You're not hurting anybody. Fuck it, go about it. You know. And like, you know, that was a very interesting conversation because they're also severely autistic. Again, big shocker coming from somebody else who's autistic. That the gender non-conforming person with a wolf obsession is autistic. But like they had a whole like we had a nice talk at like a panel they did about autism, and it was fun. And they did most of the talking obviously because it was their panel. But I asked a couple questions. I engaged, and it was a good time, which I felt bad because we were like. The group I was with at that con, we were the only like 3 to 4 people at that panel for most of it. There was another group there of like 5 people who showed up at the beginning, and then they left like halfway through, and then another group of 4 or 5 people came in for the back half of it, but we were the only people that were there literally the whole time because it was like a friend of a friend. But no, yeah. I don't know. I've met all sorts of people, and I run into people, and even like less like big names like that, I'd say like people that people wouldn't recognize, but it's just like, oh yeah, we had a good talk, good collabing with you. I'm glad we had fun together. I'm glad we could play a game and enjoy each other's company. And we should like hang out on stream sometime. We should like properly collab. That would be fun. And it's like, yeah, we should. What's your Twitch? Oh, it's this. 5,000 followers. What are we talking about? Like, or like I've seen very high numbers for Twitch anyway happen that way. And it's just like, what do you mean? I just know this person, you know? And it's like, I don't like to get weird about it. And I think that's part of why that keeps happening to me is because I'm not weird about it. Because people who are weird about it don't end up in those situations. But like, it's just I find it. I'm not weird about it, and it doesn't like change my perspective on them. I find it funny because it happens to me on such a regular basis. Anyway,
see, the closest thing I'll get is so like my pretty much every adult in my life grew up in LA, like the heart of LA, Burbank area. Where it's like, you know, you a lot of them went to like Burbank High, which is like, 70% of Disney shows were filmed there. Yeah, fuck it. And so I'll get a lot of like, you know, secondhand stories of like my mom. One day we were watching like the Goofy movie was on TV at some point, and she looks at it and goes, "Oh, the voice actor for I dated him. I went on a date with him." And I was like, "You what? You just dated the voice actor for Goofy once? Yeah, that was a good time.
For
He's a
Max
nice guy.
from the Goofy movie, not for Goofy.
No, not for Goofy. Did I say for Goofy? For Max.
You said
Goof.
for Goofy, yeah.
My bad.
Max Goof.
My bad. No, my mom isn't.
Max Goof, by the way, sounds like one of the names they would give, like if they had to interpret Goofy for that for that Looney Tunes superhero show, Max Goof seems like a name that they would give him. Like, it sounds 2000s, dude. It's hilarious.
The Lunatics is
Lunatics Unleashed. There you go. That's what it was called,
dude. He's on that show too.
Is he?
He is. Yeah.
Right.
I
We talked about that.
Up until right now, dude.
Oh my god. The links.
God damn. The time.
The links keep coming. I
can't believe it. Oh man,
it's insane to me. But no. It's like, definitely go check out Lunatics Unleashed if you haven't. It's genuinely a trip.
I recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend it as like a serious, unironic recommendation. But I do think it's a fun little look at like a marketing mishap. I think that's definitely the case.
He was Danger Duck in Lunatics. So if any of you guys are big Lunatics fans, I'm like I'm third party to like knowing him kind of.
Right.
But yeah, there are a lot of like silly things that I run into on that basis. But I don't have any like firsthand experiences.
Right, we were talking about famous people we know. Well, quote unquote famous in my case. I don't know anybody who's like a household name, but I run into people who are like out of my like internet tax bracket, if I dare say, you know. But you know what I do like though. You know what I'm a huge fan of? Not Lunatics Unleashed.
Damn.
Minecraft. I like Minecraft. The funny cube game is enjoyable. You know what I like, though, recently? I like the new capes. I think they're doing something. A lot of people have a problem. I would like them a lot
more if they were on Java.
They're coming to Java. They're doing them in like June. They're going to be in by June 8th, I think they said, was when they'll be on Java. But I don't quote me on that, anybody. I could be wrong. They'll be close to coming out on Java when this episode releases in like a week. They'll be closer than they are now, anyway. But like, did you guys know we're recording this a week ahead? We haven't mentioned it yet, I don't think.
No.
Even though we totally did. It is currently
May 19th.
Yeah, fine. Let's date the episode, sure.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? I was saying Minecraft capes. A lot of people have a problem because they're like, oh, the Minecraft capes used to be rare. It used to be like a rare thing for somebody to have a cape, and that's what made it cool. And it's like, I agree. But I don't feel like they're too common now. I think stuff like the Migrator cape is just like, yeah, everybody got that. Or the Cherry Blossom cape for the new update. Like, if they do a cape per update, yeah, sure. But I think they're still rare enough that, like, wow, you had like, it's only a year ago now, but, like, wow, you had a Minecraft cape for when, like, they migrated to Microsoft accounts, like, 7 years ago. Because I'll definitely be playing this game in 7 years. Yeah. And, like, even though they gave it to, like, millions of people, it's still, like, it's going to become rare with time. Or, like, the 15th anniversary cape, wow, you got that one? And it's like, yeah. I feel like if the release window was, like, a week to get them and not, like, a month to get them, I would feel better about that. But, like, I don't want anybody to be excluded. I'm fine with everybody having a cape. That's fucking fine. That's kind of what the community wanted for a very long time. The problem is everybody wants a cape, but not everybody wants everybody to have a cape, you know?
Yeah.
It's very much a, like, I don't want everybody to have a cape. I just want to be one of the cool people who has a cape, you know? And, like, I understand that. I understand that, like, FOMO. But, like, you know, I also like the fact that they're accessible. I like that I didn't have to go to, like, an event across the country or fuck you know?
Yeah.
I appreciated that, you know?
Speaking of Minecraft, their update cycle, it's rough.
What's rough about it? What do you not like?
Okay. Listen. Maybe I'm an asshole. I would genuinely prefer to have, instead of having a mob vote, just one at a time. Just release all of them, because I feel like when the mob vote happens, it dooms whatever mobs don't get put in there to like the fuck you bin.
Yeah, like, we're never actually going to add this bin. They have added them in the past, not many though. Like one, I forget which one.
Yeah, like it gets like
they've
put
definitely
lower on the
added
totem
them before, but like they definitely push them way back because it's like, oh, nobody wants these, and it's like that's not true. That's not true. Like a third of people voted for this, you know.
Yeah, and like I think that sucks. I think that sucks a lot. I would rather have updates take longer and get more content out of them than have ideas go to the fuck you bin, you know.
Yeah, but my thing about Minecraft updates is that I like that they're annual now. I like that they give themselves a year to add a bunch of shit, because it does something for me, right? Because they release the updates in like June. That's halfway through the year. That gets me excited to play the game because a new update just came out. But then they sit on it. The new update comes out and they sit on it for like, you know, however long until October, while they're working in secret to like figure out what they're gonna do for the next update. And then by October, 6 months, I've probably already gone through my Minecraft phase for the time being of like, oh, new update, let's play the game, let's fucking play the game, and then I'll play the game for like at minimum a month, at most like 3 to 5 months. But it still manages to keep my interest typically. Like the game as a whole manages to keep my interest year round, because once October hits and it's been like 6 months since the update came out, Minecraft Live happens, and they show up and they go, hey, here's all the cool shit that's coming out next June, you know, and we'll be releasing it in like snapshots as we go, and we'll be having fun, and the whole thing will be great, and it'll be awesome. Here's all the cool new features. And it's like, wow, cool new features, awesome, cool. Well, I want to play the game now. I want to go play the game now, even though the new stuff's not out yet. I just want to play the game. I want to be hype about the game for a little bit because I'm hype about it, and so I want to play the game. Whereas, like, and then that'll keep me and keep my attention through the holiday season, typically. Those phases tend to last longer for me, because I'm like, I want to last till the update. I want to make it till the update comes out. Yeah. Because then snapshots are coming out every week, and it's like, oh, they put crafters in this week. The crafter is in, and then next week they're going to refine the crafter, and they're going to make small tweaks to it throughout the snapshots, and then they're going to add the dogs, and they're going to add the armadillos, just stuff from the most recent update. And like week to week there will be something new to see in Minecraft if you play in the snapshots, which I never do, but I'm always very, very excited to hear what's in the new snapshot, because it's like it's such an awesome interactive way to keep the community informed as to like, here's what's coming to the game, here's where we're at on putting that in, here's what, you know, here's the stuff we tried to get there. It's a very, like, it allows for, like, if I were to go back and go, what was the history of that update like? Then snapshot to snapshot. We literally have week to week evidence of just like, all right, then they tried it this way, and people didn't like that, so they put it in that way. It also allows for, like, user feedback better than mob votes do. That's my favored user feedback, is just like, we're going to put shit in the game in the snapshot. If you don't like it, we'll take it out of the snapshot. But some features live and die in the snapshot. Like, bundles have been in snapshots for, like, 3 updates now. Either release it or don't. You know, I'm fine either way. I don't really care for bundles. I probably wouldn't use them all that often. But, like, just put them out there or don't. Don't, like, half-ass the feature like that.
Shit or get off the bundle, dude.
Yeah, shitter, remove the bundle from thine ass. What are we talking about? Oh, right, Minecraft. I lost it for 1 second because you distracted me. But I like the way they're currently doing updates. The part of the update cycle that I genuinely despise is when Minecraft, like Mojang announce a new feature of any kind, and the immediate response is from guys on the internet who play Minecraft for 1 week out of the year who want to have an opinion about how lazy the developers are.
Yeah.
I'm finding that the Mojang is lazy side of things is 99% people who don't even play the fucking game anyway.
So,
you know?
Like, to be fair, I do think that Mojang could do a little bit more.
They've
got a lot of resources.
But, like, when they're actually doing something, do you think it's really a motivator to, like, show up to, like, oh, we've redone the entire terrain generation of the game. This will be releasing in a few months to, oh, you lazy fucks, you haven't done anything. You know, I don't appreciate that, and, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
like it's just like, wow, this is all they could do. Every update's only like a new mob and a couple of wood types, and that's it. And it's like, not this one. We're getting like very innovative stuff. Look at the mace. Look at the crafter. Just stuff like that. I think they could do more.
Yeah.
I think Bedrock is holding back the development for being cross-platform, and Microsoft probably has some sort of hand in the approval of features now that now that like now
they
that they're
used to
owned,
be,
of course. They used to be quicker, and that's why I think Microsoft has a hand in just like, well, please.
They used to be quicker, and they used to be separated. So you would have a Java update, and then it would come to Bedrock. And I was a Bedrock player around that time.
In like a year, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, that sucks. It sucks to see things and not be able to play them. It also sucks to, like,
yeah,
hold up the rest of everybody.
Well before your time, I'm sure. But back when it was literally, Bedrock was just Pocket Edition. It was just Pocket Edition. There was a point
back before my time.
They released horses. I don't know if you were actively playing at that point when it came to like,
I was
Bedrock
playing in like
and Pocket.
2010.
But no, you weren't.
Yeah?
No.
2011.
Yeah, because I started playing in like February 2011, like beta 1.2.
Sorry, I get my years confused.
But either way, I didn't know if you were actively playing Pocket Edition at that point necessarily.
I was, yeah.
But
that was the main.
The thing about it was just like it was 0.6 or 0.5.0, I think, maybe even 0.4, somewhere in that 3, where people were like, oh, they just put horses in Java. When do we think we're getting horses in Pocket Edition? And I was just like, bro, they haven't added beds yet. There aren't beds in this version of the game. Yeah. Not that was 2011. That was like 2014. Like 2014, 2015.
Motherfucker, we don't have the nether. We create like a nether cube.
We don't have the ability to sleep. We don't have features that were in the game years ago. What makes you think we're getting features that just came out in the next year? Yeah. And eventually they caught up. They started catching up really quick at a certain point. Like at 0.7 is when I stopped playing around about and moved fully to Java. Like I think 0.8 was my final update while we were waiting for 0.8 to come out, where like the update where the actual Nether was coming. And I was just like, whoa, that's insane. And I still think seeing a Nether portal functioning in Pocket Edition is fucking like cursed to look at. But to this day, because I cut out of that version so quick when the 0.8.0 update was about to come out, not for any reason, I just like had a PC of my own and could play it regularly on PC instead. Because I could play it on PC anyway, but again, we were a family computer household at that time. Like we were a very, like there's one PC in the whole house, and so everybody has to kind of share. And so it's just like, there might be one computer, but I got my iPod Touch. I could download Minecraft there and play even more Minecraft than on my computer. I always preferred Java for like more features and like, its stability, but like I didn't, and its control scheme, but like, whatever. I didn't get a lot of Java time, and then I skipped to Java, and honestly, it's a whole thing with that. But enough about my personal experience with Minecraft. The update cycle. I think they're kind of hitting a groove with it. I think they're kind of starting to hit a stride with it now. Like just now in the last like update or two, where it's like, okay, we know for sure about how long these things take. We've been through this a couple times. We're getting better, at both delivering updates and like giving out update. And I think there's just only better things to come from the future. Like, I'm glad they're not sticking too hard to a theme with this update. I'm glad they're just adding a shitload of varied features, so there's something for everybody. There's the fucking crafter for the redstoners. There's the mace for the combat people. There's the fucking trial chambers for explorers. There's a shitload of new building blocks. There are things to do. There are things to do no matter what. And I like that. Anyway, yeah?
If you run into not updating your game in a good way, you'll get Lethal Company. Where Lethal Company.
Are we talking about Lethal Company?
I am.
We can talk about Lethal Company. Go ahead.
Was huge. And it was great. I had a great time with it.
No, yeah, me too. We both had a great time with it. We streamed a lot of that, I remember.
Yeah. And then
the drought.
They stopped. And then they stopped. And it was like, man, seen these planets hundreds of times. I can't, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to do this anymore.
Eventually the game gets stale.
Yeah. And I was like, well, they said that the update's around the corner, so we'll do that. And, well, I think it came out 4 months after the previous update.
It was
4
a
or
gap.
5. And
there wasn't that much content either. There was like enough that I would be excited about it at the time, but like now I'm not.
And not to
after
disparage.
a 4-month wait, not to disparage, it's one developer, so it's like
it is one guy.
I'm not gonna be shitty about like, oh man, this team of one whole guy isn't like doing enough for me, on their indie game. But it's just like it's not enough to keep me engaged, really. And I come back to Lethal Company in groups sometimes when people suggest it. It's become like Among Us to me, where it's like I'm not gonna sit and play Lethal Company on my own. I'm not necessarily that hyped to play it. But if somebody comes to me and they want Lethal Company and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna play some Lethal Company. Do you want to join us?" I'll step in for like an hour or two of Lethal Company. I'll load it up. I'll play some Lethal Company. It's a party game staple in like Discord calls everywhere now. But
yeah,
I think it's just like I feel like it's being squandered slightly under the pretense of like, dude, this was the top selling game on Steam for like a month and a half. And it could have continued being the most popular game on Steam for even longer and had much more longevity if you had, like, continued to update it. But you didn't. It's like,
so disappointing.
Again, it's disappointing. Like, you can do all you want. Again, I like Lethal Company. I like the Lethal Company stuff. I like what that guy's doing. I wish there were more of it. In fact, I like it so much that that's why I'm disappointed that there's not more of it.
Yeah.
Because, I want there to be so much more Lethal Company to be seen, and there's just like, and it felt like it was moving so fast, and it felt like just there's huge drop off where like nothing was coming out and nothing was happening. But the general vibe about it seems to still be positive regardless. And, like, to the point where it took so long that, like, Lethal Company likes are coming out now, like Landfall's content warning, which I like content warning, too. I hear there are updates for that have come out recently that I'm excited to check out. I'd like to circle back and stream that again, maybe.
Yeah, circle back, do another stream.
But I don't know. I want more out of the original. I want more from the OG. Yeah. I'd like to hear more out of like the not the progenitor, but the popularizer of this, like, genre of video game.
Yeah, and like I don't know, I'm proud of the developer because he went from
it takes a lot. Absolutely, he was a Roblox dev, and now he's like making the top game on Steam. And not to disparage Roblox games, I'm sure there's like that takes just as much effort as making a real game because like there are a few Roblox devs who have made it over to making. Like, I don't even say real game, but there are other Roblox devs who have jumped from that engine, like, within another game to, like, making solo games in, like, Godot and Unity and the other one, Game Maker, that's the other one, and things like that, where it's like, yeah, no, it's cool that you made a thing. I'm proud of you for being able to make a thing, and to make such a successful thing is a rare opportunity. So, like, and they don't have to justify their success to anybody, not even, especially not me, not some fuckhead on the internet complaining that they don't make more game. But I don't know, I just want more Lethal Company, and I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it when I was hype about it, and now I'm not as hype about it, but I'll still play it if it comes out.
I'll play it, but like last time we played it, it was less of like a, yeah, this is awesome, this is amazing, I'm wooed by this. He was like, oh, we're playing Lethal Company.
Yeah,
like we would play this a lot in the past.
I think we just played a whole hell of a lot of it in a very short span and burnt ourselves out on it a little bit before the updates could come out. But
yeah,
it happens. It happens. It's not the end of the world, but it is the end of the show.
It is. That it is.
We've hit just about ending time. Thanks for tuning in for Vox and Jed Fight About It. The show where we agreed on literally every single thing that was said today.
Yeah. Quick. Fuck it. Vox, opinion on Staples, the concept.
Hate them. Oh, the company?
You hate them?
Or the concept? The concept, hate them. Why don't you just use a paperclip? Why don't you just use a paperclip?
I think they're cool. They like do like a...
It's a cool mechanism, cool. But I don't fucking like them.
It squeezes it together. Anyway, thanks for
arguing with us. Go check out our social medias below and everything, and tune in next week where we'll have a guest. Who?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't lined that up yet. I probably should have lined that
Probably
up.
someone from Willow. Definitely someone from Willow.
Probably somebody from Willow SMP. Yeah, but, tune in next week. We'll have a guest. You'll get to see what this show is like with a guest now that you've seen what this show is like with just us. We're probably going to get better at this, I hope.
Probably. I think this was okay.
I think this is pretty good. Yeah, I expected to have to do more editing than I'm going to have to. I'm probably just going to have to, add an opening and a closing to it. But either way, let's not talk too much about, the editing of it. And I'll see you all, or we'll see you all. I almost closed it like a stream. We'll see you all next week. For whomever happens to be here for an interview and a further discussion.
See y'all next week.